Human Rights Radio, it's time for Media Lab. My name is Ruth Usman, and I say welcome to our listener to this particular program, and most importantly, welcome to my colleague, my senior colleague here. Good morning to you, Mr. Kehinde Ayofe Akintola.
Good morning.
All right.
Good to be here.
Okay, Mr. Kehinde is a media practitioner and PR consultant as well, and he will be helping us or giving us more insight, well, from his own perspective about some of the happenings in the country. So, as always, we take on some of these trending stories and see what we can make out of them. Now, we begin with this first story that says the coalition of northern groups has asked President Muhammadu Buhari and former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, who are above 70 years, not to contest the presidency of the country in 2019. The group said such leaders were responsible for where the country found itself, adding that the country should be led by young Nigerians that could take it to the promised land. All right, so has it come to this now? Well, it's a group, you know, coming out to say, well, considering your age, don't even go close. I mean, we want people that maybe even have the physical strength to take us to the promised land. What do you make of this?
Yeah, I think it's a welcome development. More importantly, when it's coming from the northern group, possibly they know what they are talking about. They've seen that, of course, we've had a lot of elderly people steering the affairs of this country, but it's landing us nowhere. A few days ago, I was asking some sort of people the rationale behind our predicaments as a nation. For me, you see the Chinese people driving the economy with technology, various types of technology. But here in Nigeria, we are still talking of nothing but constructing road, and we celebrate road construction. We're a country that's so endowed in terms of human resources, in terms of mineral resources as well. What the richest country in the whole planet, world. I was in Oyo State some time back. Of course, my job does not permit me to travel as I would love to. But I was amazed seeing tarpaulins, uniform, you know, what we call ashwebi. You know, they took over the entire road just because of a small bridge.
Wow.
And
that was constructed.
Yeah. With public fund. And I was like, are we sane? Can somebody talk to me and tell me the rationale for this stupidity in this country?
Okay.
In this state? I was like, come. They throw, you know, party, big party. And they will have ended up spending as much as what was used to construct the road, organizing party for just bridge.
Okay, wait, who are those partying? Was it people of the community or the political party, perhaps?
The political supporters, and you know, at the end of the day, you discover that it's the wife of the governor that will contract the people that will do the tarpaulin, the rentages, and those who will do the cookings, those who will do the sewing. And that is what we call development. But in other climes, you see them talking of, you know, we are just going out to get to Kano for about $1 billion. Oh, that's what 360 billion going out to the U.S. Treasury. Then you ask us the question, what is DICON doing? Defense Manufacturing Agency, that we budget billions of naira for every year, year in, year out. But we are not getting value for even the 8 trillion naira that we propose. Now it's is risen to 9.120 trillion. Now, at the end of this year, I challenge you. Let's evaluate what we have achieved with the 7-point-something trillion that we passed last year. 6-point-something trillion that we passed in the first year of this administration. What value can we show for this monies?
Are we saying these things, or are you saying these things are happening because many of the leaders are old. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. Because they don't know what development is all about. They don't know what development is all about. Of course, I do listen to Human Rights Radio almost every morning on my way to work. And I discovered some of those empowerment programs that we talk about on this platform. Those are issues we are talking about. You are talking about solar panel, solar lightning, alternative sources of energy. I think if that is the only thing we can do, is a step forward. But government has all this capacity, but they don't utilize it. To my surprise, I went through the budget, our normal, budget, our yearly budget, and you see over 100 research institutes being funded with our budget. But what have we gained from this? I took a tour to Minna. I saw one. I was like, so we can produce these bulbs, in various cups. I asked questions. I said, who did all of this? And they told me, say the boys seated there. But where are they? We still prefer we are still dependent on what China produced, what all manners of country. We are import dependent, and we thrive on that. We don't want to you don't want to change. Now, I was reading, because I was doing a story on PIP. So I was trying to search on the internet and see what's happening on other climes. And in the process, I got to the website of OPEC, which happens to be the platform where our former NNPC GMD is actually the Secretary General now. And I was like, okay, this man is being celebrated all over the world. But while he was on seat in Nigeria, we had no change. It was still the same cycle. And we are still grappling with the same system. So
why is that? Doesn't that show that there's a mindset problem here? Not necessarily, put on the shoulders of those that are advanced in age, in years, but...
No, you can't separate the two.
Okay.
Because I blame the leadership for everything. Because when you have the right set of people in leadership, the followership, they must align. Because he sets the agenda and he shows you this is the way to go. Everybody falls in, or you get out of the system. So I blame the leadership. If we have the set of people who are technologically sound, they know what is obtainable in other climes. Our people travel all over the world, but what have they brought back? Go to UAE, United Arab Emirates. You need to see the way they program their refineries. You have real-time information. Can't we adopt all of this? Are we talking of technology that comes from the moon or from where? These are already made technology that we can adopt. And Nigerians, we can easily get trained in all of this. And we came to this system, but today, they will tell you the refineries at so capacity level. Tomorrow they give you another figure. Next tomorrow somebody is fooling who? And I just think we just need to change for the first time in this country. But with what I'm seeing, we take a step forward today and we take 25 steps backward tomorrow. And I bet you, if we allow this system to continue the way it is, you will still discover that Nigeria will remain the same in the next 50 years.
All right, let's take on more stories. The Sultan of Sokoto, Saad Abubakar III, led Jamaat al-Nasr Islam, has called on the federal government to embark on a short-term economic measure that will cushion the current hardship on Nigerians. The religious body noted that the current economic policy of the government, considered long-term, was inflicting more hardship on the generality of Nigerians.
Of course. You just alluded to what we just said. Because you say to us, economic diversification.
This one now is focused on this administration, because that's what he's saying.
Is there any change between this administration and the previous one?
Okay.
There's not. It's still the same cycle. So can't we have somebody? It doesn't mean we don't have human beings who can take us out of this doldrum. I said, no, we have. We have.
So what's the way out?
The same bureaucracy that we are talking about has not changed. The same sort of people doing the same thing over the years, they have not changed. Can you please point to whosoever we are talking about? Go to some states which we are having some governors. I say for a few of them that you can say, okay, they've done something different in their states. The governors who are on seats in this same cabinet at the federal level point to two that have done something drastic in the states where they govern. And let me shock you. Some of these so-called ministers, they have schools abroad, in neighboring countries. So it shows they lack faith in this same country, where they milk the same money from, to develop other countries.
Wow.
If they are business-minded, we have the population, we have all it takes. Do you know, it's unfortunate that some of us, we don't have the capacity to source for money that will do some things, because the banking system has failed. Which other system do you want to talk about that has not failed in this country? If you go to conduct the health situation, the status of our banks, you discover that we have missed it. What we call advancement is not advancement. Now, when I didn't go to GSS, as in this 6334,
Okay.
But I was opportune to teach for quite some time. And I discovered the syllabus was so robust. And I think it was the best syllabus that you can ever talk of. Unfortunately enough, we are not getting anything out of that syllabus. It's just head knowledge we are talking about, and we are just working on till tomorrow. Imagine one of the ministers, city ministers, told us that we cannot produce toothpick in this country. And he gave us a long-term plan to get that done. Till now, the man has not come back to Nigerians to tell us, yes, we started producing toothpick. You know my conclusion about them?
Okay.
They have lost touch about the system where they live in. They don't even know what is happening in this country. They don't know. Unfortunately enough, we are still battling with that till tomorrow. Then you imagine, when are we going to wake up from this slumber?
That's sad indeed. Okay, let's see this one now. The Nigeria Labour Congress has raised the alarm over an alleged plan by northern governors to sack teachers and other workers in their states, warning that the oppressed workers would vote out hostile political leaders in 2019. It warned the governors against retrenching workers and criticized Governor Nasser El-Rufai of Kaduna State for allegedly stating that other northern governors would implicate his policy and retrench teachers and other cadres of workers. And I am thinking now, is this perhaps just, some speculations, because he said this and, the Nigerian Labour Congress is taking it upon itself? Or are there really proof that this could happen?
Yeah, based on the personality of the president of the Congress that I know, I'm so familiar with him, I know he will not just be running his mouth anyhow. He must have listened to him, and I know the technical team working in NLC will have worked on this particular information before they raise the alarm.
Okay.
But it's so sad if that is true, that there is a kind of influence, that a particular axis. When you have, but so many things are wrong, just wrong in this country. So many things, virtually everything is wrong. Because you ask the question, how do we get these people into the system? That's number one. Do they have the qualification? Then let's talk of our educational system, our institution. In those days, we have teacher training and the quality of people coming from the schools. You can guarantee them. You talk of those who went to university, then those who have masters, now we have NT-High. So by the time you evaluate and look at the registration council, Teachers Registration Council, the accreditation, and all whatnot, University of Abuja at the point was not accredited, and they were training people in certain professions. What was the fate of these people? It's zero. Till we speak, as we speak, FCT, College of Education, is not legally established.
Wow.
So it means all those graduates, they have no future. FCT, the seat of power. Now, if University of Abuja is here to get accreditation for major courses, including medicine. Then it shows the institution is the future of those people in hundreds.
But how do we know that it is perhaps on the basis of such things, like, as you're saying, that this retrenchment could take place?
It's cool.
Is it necessary because they feel these teachers and other workers are not qualified to be where they are? Because I don't think it should be an issue if you find out that someone is not qualified to be occupying a particular position, but that, because from what we've just read here now, it doesn't really give reasons why these people may be retrenched or could be retrenched.
Yeah, but the fact remains, if you follow the trend of things over the time, for almost a year, they've been on this issue. And I remember very vividly that NLC organized rally in Kaduna State. They really battled the issue.
Yeah.
Eventually, the governor succeeded in sacking 22,000 workers, including those in local governments, area councils.
Well,
now, I wouldn't know what actually led to that. But let me quickly recall what happened in Edo State during the tenure of Governor Adams Oshiomhole. One of the senior teachers was, accosted by the governor, and he gave her a particular, note to read. Unfortunately enough, it's on the YouTube. I can tell you sincerely, just do a random sampling, go around and see what those teachers, what they dish out to their students. You'll be amazed. Even in private schools.
So, but if that were the case, would the Nigeria Labour Congress, as a unit, come out and, kick against this action?
No, the argument by Labour Congress in the case of the Kaduna State governor was that it shouldn't be he that would just appoint the so-called external examiner to conduct exams for them. It should have been the regulatory body. That was the argument.
Well, perhaps he doesn't have faith in that regulatory body as well.
Rufai.
I'm just saying perhaps. So, of course, I'm not answering.
He's a thorough man. He's thorough. Even while he was governing FCT, he was also thorough. So you give it to him. But sincerely, if you don't clean this system, we'll be having issues in times to come. And don't forget, virtually everybody in power in the system, they've said that our graduates, they are not employable. So it starts from the roots. And if you cannot get quality education for pupils at primary level, so they get to secondary school, now the same set of people, they will end up buying exam papers. They will end up buying exam scripts. And, they will start to the teachers to get their ways into the system, into the tertiary education institutions. So what will be their fate by the time they come out? For example, there was a guy who said to me that he wanted to do his service here. We came all the way from Puliban, the almighty Puliban. So I just felt, okay, it's like I knew his face while I was there. Okay, let me just assist in linking him up with somebody in the ministry. Fortunately enough, the man graciously agreed to assist him. So he first asked him, can you tell me the name of the person that sent you to me? He couldn't. The man asked him, I've called the man already, and he said to me, before the guy came back, that he turned him back because he didn't even know your name. So later, after 2 days, the man, he called me and I told him my name, my full name. And later when he got to the man again, he forgot his surname.
Wow.
The man said, okay, don't worry, I know your problem. But I go to so-so department, go and talk to so-so person. On getting there, they asked him to do just one sentence thing. Do you know this guy couldn't cope? HND. The same thing applies to some university graduates. So whose fault is it? It means the system has been compromised. Even within the system, you have to overhaul the entire system to ensure we have the right people in the right places. Now, I can tell you, just yesterday, we were talking about those doing masters. And one of my friends told me, he said, they have to pay as much as 200,000 to do entertainment of the examiners. And they will tell you, that was how we did ours. We too settled. We too pay as much as
so it will continue. Everybody wants, it's like payback.
Payback. Is that the way it's done in other climes? I said no. So we must get it right. Somebody must clean up the system. You see the sex scandal in OAU? It's still happening till tomorrow. And it will still happen if we don't check the system. If we don't pause the system.
All right, we'll take more stories, but we'll have to go on a break at this point. Do stay with us. We'll be right back.
Making the world a better place every day. Human Rights Radio 101.1. Redefining broadcasting.
Queen Irene Onwuka Peace Foundation, in collaboration with the Federal Capital Territory Administration, presents the National Children's Day celebration. Theme: Nigerian children advocating for peace, love, and unity. Featuring culture, dance, comedy, creativity, and fashion. Date: the 27th of May, 2018. Time: 12 p.m. prompt. Venue: International Conference Center, Abuja. There are some things that money cannot buy. And the most important of them all is our childhood. For sponsorship, inquiries, and more information, please call 0706 486 4040 or 0816 208 0762. Enjoy the spirit of Children's Day.
ebidola a na-adọ ọhaneze aka na ntị ka ha gbochie ma kwụsị akparamagwa ga-ebute mmiri ọdụdọ na mbuze dịka iwufu ahịhịa n'ime mmiri na-asọ asọ ya na ịtụnye ihe n'ime gota. A na-emekwa ka ị mara na iwu ụlọ n'ebe na-ekwesịghị dịka ụzọ mmiri nwere ike ịkpata ịtụfu ndụ ndị mmadụ n'efu ya na ihe nweta ndị mmadụ ịla n'iyi. Mee ihe kwesịrị dị mma. Ọ bụ Federal Capital Territory Administration FCTA na-ezitara gị ozi a. A yayin da damuna ta fara kankama. Zub da sharar ku a magudanar ruwa. Bugu da ƙari an shawarci al'umma da su kiyaye yin gine-ginen gidaje a hanyoyin ruwa wanda yin haka kan iya jawo rusan da zai laƙume rayukan al'umma da dukiyoyinsu a lokacin damuna. A koda yaushe ku kasance mai yin abin da yake daidai. Wannan sako na zo muku ne daga hukumar birnin tarayya FCTA.
Gẹ́gẹ́ bí a ti mọ̀ wípé àsìkò òjò la wà, èyí ni láti sọ fún gbogbo ènìyàn láti yàgò fún ìwà ìdọ̀tí, dídà ìdọ̀tí síbi tí ò bójúmu tí ó lè fa omíyalé, àgbàrá ya ṣọ́ọ̀bù. Dídà ìdọ̀tí síbi tí ò bójúmu tàbí òpópónà sì jẹ́ ohun kan gbòógì tí ó ń ṣokùnfà omíyalé, àgbàrá ya ṣọ́ọ̀bù ní ìlú Àbújá. Ẹ má ṣe da ìdọ̀tí sínú gọ́tà tàbí ọ̀nà tí ìjọba ti pèsè sílẹ̀ fún omi láti gbà kọjá. A tún fi àsìkò yìí sọ fún gbogbo olùgbé FCT Àbújá láti rí dájú wípé wọn ò kọ́ ilé sí ọ̀nà tí omi ń gbà kọjá. Èyí lè ṣe okùnfà pípàdánù ọ̀gọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀mí tàbí pípàdánù ohun ìní ní àsìkò òjò. Ẹ ṣe ohun tó tọ́. Ìkéde yìí wá láti àjọ FCTA, Federal Capital Territory Administration.
As the rainy season begins, public is hereby advised to avoid environmental practices that could cause flooding. Indiscriminate waste disposal has remained a major factor causing flooding in the FCT. Do not throw your garbage into gutters and drainages along waterways. Residents are also advised to avoid building houses around natural waterways, as this could also lead to loss of lives and property during the rainy season.
Do the right thing. This message is from the Federal Capital Territory, FCTA.
Welcome, my dear friends.
Human Rights Radio. Your 100% effort is not good enough. Give me 101.1 effort.
As the fourth estate of the realm, the media stands as the watchman of the nation. On Media Lab, we dissect the news items of the day through the men and women that bring the news to you to give you the full story. Media Lab, airing exclusively on Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM, redefining broadcasting.
Human Rights Radio.
Well, thank you for staying with us. The program continues, and it is Media Lab on Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM. This morning, I've been speaking with Kehinde Ayofe Akintola, who's a media practitioner, and he is weighing into some of the trending stories across the nation. Now, we take on this one has been lingering and is still on. Well, it says the Minister of Labor and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, has warned the Nigerian Medical Association, NMA, to steer clear of negotiations between government and the striking joint health sector unions, JOHESU. The minister noted that such meddlesomeness arising from an unhealthy inter-union rivalry would adversely put pressure on social dialogue mechanism, clog the wheel of progress, and retard the return of industrial harmony in the entire health sector. He admonished NMA to desist from further interference in any form in the ongoing negotiation, as well as stop issuing threats to the federal government, as it is firmly resolved to achieve a lasting industrial peace in all sectors without prejudice to perceived group interests. Well, let me just add this. Meanwhile, the Joint Health Sector Union says it is not aware of a court order asking it to call off its over 1 month-old strike. It therefore called on its members to ignore the Federal Ministry of Health's order that the strike be called off. Now, many Nigerians, just feel like, well, this rivalry between, among health workers and all of that, the dichotomy when it comes to especially remuneration and all of that. Now, the federal government is asking NMA to, not to be meddling in matters. But what do you make of this situation?
Yeah, well, it's been an age-long rivalry, and the argument by the NMA, the medical doctors, that they undergo trainings, for over 7 years and the likes, and those nurses and other medical paramedics, that they had short training period. They spend so much as before they become doctors and the likes. For me, they don't hold water. you have options. Either you opt out of government service or you kill him. So it should be the doctors or the government who is the employer that determines the remuneration of whosoever.
But what is the gap? It's just too much. And you feel, because I believe that, you know, for every health worker, their job specification is very sacrosanct, regardless of where you fall, whether you're a doctor or you're a lab technician.
Well, I blame government for everything, because, you know, this set of rivalry that we talk about is applicable to those HND and BSc too. Unfortunately enough, government till date has not been able to resolve this issue. I've covered several of these negotiations that lasted into midnight, but what do you get out of it? They just politicize the whole thing at the expense of human lives. Go to hospitals, you see a lot of people languishing without anybody attending to them.
Now, that's the result of whoever started the whole dichotomy thing, or, you know, saying, well, because you're not from a university, this is what you deserve. Because you are from a university, this is also what you deserve. Now, this is the result, one of the consequences. People saying, well, I am important and you should pay me this, or you should view me as this. And we're having this kind of situation. Nigerians are dying, people are suffering, you know, and this is still ongoing. Now, very recently, the federal government has come out to say, well, there's a court order and you all have to return. And that's the last part I read, where Johesu is telling all its members that they should ignore this, that they are not aware of any such court order. So they're not ready, even as we speak, you know, to get back to work. Everyone is, you know, still on their horses.
Yeah, I don't think the threat issue of no work, no pay policy of federal government will work. Because the fact remains, you can't even bring in new hands to handle these sectors. These guys, they offer complementary services. When what they call it, National Hospital was on strike, I was there to cover the events. You know, the entire system was just down. It's collapsed because the patients, despite the fact that the doctors were working, the patients, they were compelled to go home to bring their pillows, to bring bed sheets, virtually everything they needed.
Wow.
Who does the allocation of the hospital beds? Is other paramedics. Who does the servicing of the drugs? Paramedics. The cleaning. Will doctors subject themselves to such work? No. So there are a lot of things involved. So you cannot just isolate yourself and say, because I'm a graduate, I went to school for 7 years, I should be God of everybody. It's not done. Now, based on the example that they gave, if you enter into the service, government service or public service as a medical doctor, you are placed on level 13. And you go home with over 330,000 naira. The same man who has been in service for quite some time, his own entry points should be level 9. All his take home will be about 160. Now, why can't you raise? Can you do something to raise this a little to 190? They said no, because he didn't go to school for 7 years. And like one of my senior colleagues, we always argue that because his own child is a medical doctor, he knows how much he has paid. Who has not paid?
Who has not paid? So, but that's it. Now that, just like you said, now the doctors are there, they're working. But patients now, their relatives, I would want to believe, because if you're very sick, you cannot.
People are doctors seeing every day.
And so people...
And these are the people putting the lives of Nigerians into all of this. I had an issue December. I had a broken back. I went to the hospital. The doctor asked me, see this. Okay, go for X-ray. I went for X-ray. At the end of the day, they gave me just 2 tablets under NHIS. Just 2 tablets. Do you know the most unfortunate thing? I went home suffering. Even I was worse than the way I came.
Okay.
Because the trauma was damn too much. I couldn't bear it.
Wow.
Until one man just saw me, a photographer, in the National Hospital. I said, Sorry, I hope you won't be offended. Please, can you just call this line? And he referred me to a pharmacist. That was the saving grace I had.
Wow.
Lo and behold, the man just recommended how much drugs for me? 4,000 at most. Since then, I can't actually record I had that injury.
That problem.
Who knows it most? Somebody will say the doctor. Somebody will tell you it's the pharmacist. I will tell you, I prefer his pharmacist attending to me than a doctor. Because they have no value they've offered to.
Wow.
It's shameful the way we run this country. It's shameful the way we just, we just carry the title as if it's all about title. That if you don't call them doctor, you don't respect them. When they pull, they take on their lab coats. That makes them doctor. Most time you call them, they don't even know more than the herbalists we talk about.
Okay,
and that's why you see
you're focusing
most
on,
Nigerians, they
on the
prefer to
doctors.
go to herbalists than to go to hospitals.
All right, so we'll open up the phone line though at this point. Let's see who is listening and who may want to say a thing or two, considering some of the stories that we have given voice to on Media Lab today. 08033221149. Hello?
Hello.
Good morning. Can you hear me? Oh, sorry. Kind of lost that. But feel free to call me right back. 08033221149. It's Media Lab. Hello?
Hello.
Good morning. Please stay away from your radio. Okay, I think the network is trying to misbehave here, but let's just keep trying and see how far. I do hope we're going to have a clear connection so we can hear your contribution to this particular program. Hello?
Hello, good morning, Ruth.
Good morning, welcome.
Thank you. I just want to quickly react to the first issue you raised.
Okay.
The very first issue. Well, very...
Can we have your name, please?
Okay, my name is Leonard.
Okay, Leonard.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry about that. The issue about very old people in government. Let me just tell you something. That is unfortunate, sad. I think I'm permitted to, because it is true, it is real. Your present Minister for Agriculture and Rural Development was screened so many years ago for ministerial appointment by the late Dr. Olusola Saraki, who was in the Senate then. So many years, I think it's more than 20 years later, his son, late Dr. Olusola Saraki's son, again screened this same person for ministerial appointment. What sort of thing is that? The man has no shame that the Senate President's father screened him as minister. He went to become chairman of a party.
But he wants to serve his fatherland.
Wants to serve his fatherland. Can't any other person serve? What did he not give them that he wants to give now? Are there no other people to give? Are there no other people, younger people? Look at the current trends in agriculture now. Israel is producing everything it is consuming, although it is more or less a desert place. They have modern agriculture. They produce everything they are consuming. They don't import anything they consume.
Okay, so by way of advice now, focusing on having older hands ruling the country, what do you have to say?
What I will say is that they should give way. They have had their time. They have had their time. When will the younger generation have their time? This is the question. And the younger generation now, you know what? They are doing great. Those of them who are well are doing wonderfully well. I have a friend in Kano who developed the port-import technology. He's not up to 50. He's not up to, he's 40-something. Port-import technology. and he came on in this country is an inventor. Nobody has developed that technology in the world. Nobody even knew it. And Nigeria couldn't even buy into it. Brazil patented it. We couldn't buy it. We couldn't do anything. It's a way of preserving food without, any chemicals. You build a pot, you put another pot inside it, you put water in that pot inside, put it out there in the sun. After 3 hours, it begins to make ice. 7 hours later, you have ice flakes. The ice blocks will last for 21 days. Somebody in this country, a young man, invented this technology. We couldn't use it. Brazil patented it. We cannot even see it. Nobody even hears about it. And we have a minister of science and technology. What are they doing? I like what your analyst said. Most of them who are in the cabinet now. Ask them, when they were in government, in their various states, as governors, what did they do? They should bring out one single outstanding thing they did. None. And yet again...
Okay, Leonard, I'll have to give room for other people to call as well.
But I hope you understand my passion.
Of course. Really.
Yes. Thank you, Ruth.
Thank you so much for your call.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right. I really wish we had more time, would have allowed you to go on and on, and very, very interesting points you've raised there too. But like I said, let's get to listen to other people as well. Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good morning. Welcome. What's your name?
Yeah, my name is Uche.
Uche.
Yes, I'm calling from Zuba.
All right. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I suppose what the last call just said now. They should give room to younger generation. They will see this Nigeria will be good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so very much for agreeing with the last call, and he just kept it very brief. 08033221149. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning. Welcome to Media Lab. What's your name?
Yeah, good morning. This is Kitson calling.
Gideon.
Kitson calling.
Kitson. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Yes, I believe the problem with I'm not really against the old hands being in power. But the reason why they are still hanging in power is because we youth are still to do what we ought to do. Because these people...
What should the youth do?
Yes, we should take our destiny in our hands. If you look at the population of Nigeria, the older hands are no more than the youth. But these same youths are the same people the older hands uses to commit all the atrocities they are committing in our country today. Because one, these older hands cannot carry gun themselves and begin to kill one another. In the same youth they will hand over this gun to, hand over money to, will now start killing people up and down. Until the youth decide to take their destiny in their hands. This country belongs to us. The development of every nation is in the hands of the youth. It's not in the hands of the elderly people. These people, they are old enough. They should just go and rest. They should allow us to take over the chances and develop Nigeria. The Americans today are not being developed by the old hands. It is the youth that fights for their nation. But today in our country, the youth are being used in committing crimes everywhere. Tell me how many of these people in power? How many of these people in power today have you seen carrying gun, killing themselves? It's the same youth. Who are those carrying ballot boxes? It's youth. I know the old ones. Who are those harassing people all over during campaigns and all that? It's the youth.
All right.
So until the youth decide to take their destiny in their hands, Nigeria will still remain where we are.
Okay.
We should not deceive ourselves.
Kenson, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Calling out to the youths now. 08033221149. Hello?
Hello.
You need to turn off your radio. What's your name?
Master Who calling?
Master who?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead.
Please, I just want to contribute a little about the youth advocating for a younger person to rule the country. And I want to say that it's a good idea, most especially as it's coming from the north, just as the other speaker said. But I think it will be difficult for us, for the youth, to take the mantle of leadership in in Nigeria because from all ramifications you look at it, the youth are divided along religion and ethnic line. Because I wish, I thought, as it's coming from the north, it's also maybe it's a general advocate from all the youth in Nigeria, and that we come together to say, yeah, enough is enough, and we are ready to take up now. But coming from one side, that doesn't translate to all Nigerians. And for as long as youth continue to divide, the holders will continue to rule this country. Because when you go to the cycle of leadership, you don't see anything like religion there. Religion don't exist there. Ethnicity don't exist there. And whatever you want us to call that divide the youth doesn't exist there. They speak in one voice. It's all about the partner interest and the interest of the cycle that they belong. So, and as far as the youth in Nigeria, and if the youth in Nigeria really want to take the leadership responsibility of Biko and be in charge, then they need to come together. We need to drop our differences and identify with ourselves and now come together. Yeah, it doesn't mean that we should forget our difference. We should put away our differences away completely. But at least let's put some aside and let's work together in unity. In as far as we remain divided, there is nothing for youth in this country. We have to come together regardless where we come from, regardless of our religion, religion affiliation, ethnicity, and section, or whatever region we come from. Then we come together and speak in one way. But as long as we are mixing political ideology with our religion and ethnicity, there is no way the youth can defeat the whole. The youth will also the vote, because the other people have what brought them together, and they respect that.
Okay.
And we are not seeing things that. Even in social media, when you look at things today, the way youth are occupying the social space, we are not taking advantage of the social media for good. Because when you post something, they will look at where you come from, your religion, your name. Starting from the name, you would look at the responses, it's just a clear attack. People don't see things beyond reasonable that this thing is the rationale beyond what somebody says. People don't see it. When somebody is at fault, or maybe for example now when you have a minister from a northern part that made something that was not good and you want us to comment and say what he does was wrong and all sort of that. You look at people, when you are a Christian from the south or from the west, people from the north will always look at it that maybe you are just attacking because he is a Muslim from the north. And likewise, other people from the south too. So it doesn't, you can't take responsibility by doing all those things. You need to come together and seriously. When things happen,
Thank you.
If things are wrong, you see it wrong, and when they are right, you see it right.
Mr. Hu, I have to let you go. Okay, we don't have so much time anymore, but thank you so very much.
When the youth come together all over the country, then there is not what they are advocating for. I don't think to work. We need to come together.
All right. Thank you so very much for your input.
Welcome.
Okay. What do you think about what he's talking about, especially, about the youths?
Yeah, you can see the frustration. Actually, everybody needed to key into the...
I mean, I totally agree with him when you talk about going on the internet to see, stories, and then you go to comment sections and you see the way people are really verbally attacking themselves. Literally, you wonder what they would do if they were to see each other face to face.
Yeah, most youths in this country, they are just sellouts. The last election, I witnessed one in Niger State. One young guy was the one being used to give 500 naira.
Well, that's sad.
Naira. And people sold out their future. Now they are lamenting because there is no meaningful development in that state. And they call it past state. For those of us who are non-indigenous, we laugh at them. Because they ended up selling everything they had. Now they are left with nothing.
Okay.
None of them is working. None of them is thinking of how to get themselves out of these same problems that we are talking about.
In 1 minute, let's have your concluding thought.
My concluding thought is to beckon on Nigeria that we should see a new Nigeria. We should be part of the system. We should be part of the change, the required change, not this type of change that we are in. The real change that will end us a future.
I hope we will know the real change. Sorry to interrupt, because there's this change and then there is change the change, and now you are saying the real change. So I hope no other change mantra will be coming up.
When we get those who can offer us change. We've seen a lot in this country. But notwithstanding, there is still a better tomorrow. And that better tomorrow is with us. Is with us. I believe in the youths of this country. I know youths are not lazy. I know youths, they have all it takes to offer the best, but we need to speak with one voice. Our votes must count. Anybody that asks you to sell your votes is not the type of leader we are looking for. Collect the money, do the needful, and let's shame them out of the system.
All right.
Because we base everything on money, but it's not money. Let's shame them out of the system.
All right, that's been Kehinde Ayofe Akintola, a media practitioner. Many thanks for being our Media Lab today.
My pleasure.
And many thanks to those who called in passionately as well on the program today. Really appreciate your calls. We'll do this again tomorrow in the 11 o'clock hour. This is where I say goodbye. My name is Ruth Usman, but the news will be coming up at 12. Do stay with us.
Making the world a better place every day. Human Rights Radio 101.1. Redefining broadcasting.